Differential gene expression. A somatic cell or each somatic cell which is a differentiated cell contains same genome, and this concept is known as genomic equivalence, and the same genome in the somatic cell expresses different protein which will result in different types of cells. So difference in gene expression is known as differential gene expression. Coming to the central dogma of biology, which is a passage of information stored in DNA, and it is the result in the synthesis of protein. In DNA, the DNA undergoes transcription to produce nuclear RNA, which is present in the nucleus. And this nuclear RNA undergoes RNA processing, forming the mRNA, and this mRNA is transported into the cytoplasm to the ribosome, which are the protein factories which converts this translate this mRNA into polypeptide, and this polypeptide undergo post translational modification to form the active proteins. So this is the passage of information from DNA, nuclear RNA, mRNA, polypeptide to protein. So by this is the actually the gene expression. So by controlling this various steps in gene expression, we can regulate gene expression. So it will produce differences in gene expression, and finally different types of cells are produced. So there are four levels to regulate this gene transcription. The first level is differential gene transcription. So, the gene transcription can be regulated to produce different expression of genes which result in different cells. And this DNA and the protein called histone forms the complex known as chromatin, which are the fundamental units of the chromosomes. And these chromosomes can be regulated by the formation of two structures, that is the chromatin, euchromatin and heterochromatin. So it can regulate gene transcription. Next is the proteins that combine with DNA. These proteins are known as histone. The acetylation and methylation of histones can activate or repress transcription. Another important blockage to transcription is the methylation of DNA. And this transcriptional regulation is also achieved by the regulatory sequences called promoter and enhancers, and regulatory proteins called transcriptional factors. So that is the differential gene transcription. We will explain each level in detail. And second level is the selective nRNA processing, which include differential or alternative splicing, alternative polyadenylation and mRNA transport control. Third stage is a selective mRNA translation. It includes temporary storage of mRNA, differential mRNA longevity, translational control in early development stages, and regulation by cytoplasmic localization, and lastly the translational control of spermiogenesis. The last level is the differential protein modification, which include differential destination of polypeptide, post-translational modification of polypeptides, and protein degradation control. This is a summary of differential gene expression. Coming to the anatomy of a eukaryotic genes, it consists of two regions, that is which is transcribed and which regulates the binding of RNA polymerase, that is the regulatory region. The transcribed region include the first site to be transcribed, that is known as transcription start site, And next is the exons and introns. The exons are final mRNA region and introns are intervening non-coding regions. Both these exons and introns are transcribed to the pre-mRNA or nuclear mRNA, and from which the introns are removed and it forms the mRNA, which is the process is known as RNA processing. The regulatory region includes the promoters and enhancers. The promoters are sites at which the RNA polymerase II, which is essential for the transcription, binds to DNA and begin transcription. And enhancers are regulatory sequences which control the efficiency and rate of transcription of promoters. So first, the eukaryotic gene is a complex of DNA and histone forming chromatin. So histone forms an histone octamer which consists of two molecules of H2A histone, H2B, H3 and H4, and the DNA, two loops of DNA are wrapped around this histone forming the functional or basic unit of chromatin, which is known as nucleosomes. And these nucleosomes are linked by another histone called histone H1, and they are more tightly packed to form the solenoid. This H1 histone and this tightly package of this chromatin prevent transcription factors and RNA polymerase II to the binding to the gene, and this inhibits transcription. And this tightly packing of this nucleosomes will result in two stages of chromatin known as euchromatin and heterochromatin. This euchromatin is loosely packed and it is active in transcription, whereas heterochromatin is tightly packed and it inhibits transcription. Another level of control of transcription is by methylating DNA. Usually, the DNA is methylated in cytosine residues, which is usually followed by a guanosine residue, and this is represented as CpG region. So, cysteine phosphate followed by a guanosine region, and methylation of this creates a 5-methyl cytosine, and this 5-methyl cytosine it recruit binding of certain proteins and it facilitates histone modification. That histone is methylated or deacetylated to produce a tight complex of nucleosomes which prevent transcription factors and RNA polymerase binding. So this is the one of the way in which this methylation blocks transcription. Another way is by binding of transcription factors to enhancer. Third modification is the modification of histone. The histone tail is modified of histones of H3 and H4. So to this tail, acetyl groups or methyl groups are added, which result in, as when acetyl group is added, it results in euchromatic condition, and the enzyme is histone acetyl transferase, and this will activate transcription. Whereas when it is methylated by histone methyl transferase, it results in the formation of a heterochromatin which represses transcription. And differential gene expression is also controlled by promoters and enhancer. And these promoters include two classes which uses different method to control transcription. These promoters are called high CpG content promoters called HCP and low CpG content promoters called LCP. These HCP are usually in active condition or on condition, and it contains unmethylated DNA, and they are usually present in development control genes. And the low CpG content or LCP, it is usually repressed or off condition and this contains methylated DNA and seen in mature cells. So the enhancer, promoter and the transcription factors together act to repress or activate transcription, which will result in differential transcription of gene. And this enhancer, promoter and transcriptional factors form a transcriptional complex. This enhancer and promoter are known as 6 activating regulatory sequences because it act near the transcription start site, whereas the transactivating proteins called transcription factors, which is not close to the promoter or the transcription site. These transcription factors include two domains. One is the DNA domain, which binds to the enhancer and promoter, and an activating domain which bind to the transcription factors and RNA polymerase II. The transcriptional factors are of two types. One which binds to promoter of most genes are known as basal or general transcription factors, and some others are selectively bind to activate repression, which is known as activators, and others repress transcription known as repressors. The second level of control is by selective nuclear RNA processing. So nuclear RNA is the first product of transcription which is produced into the nucleus, and it undergoes several modification or processing to forming messenger RNA by the removal of introns, addition of 5' cap and 3' poly A tail. And this mRNA, it is still present in the nucleus. It should be transported into the cytoplasm for the effective translation of this mRNA. So this control can be divided into two regions: differential RNA processing and mRNA transport control. The differential RNA processing include two steps, that is selection of mRNA for processing into cytoplasmic mRNA. This process known as censoring, which include the different cell selection of different mRNA from nuclear RNA. The second way is by selective splicing of nuclear RNA. This can be achieved through two steps. One is alternative polyadenylation, in which there is an addition of poly A tail to the 3' end of mRNA. And there is a signal sequence there known as AAA, which is recognized by the enzymes which add poly A tail to the 3' end. And another is the alternative splicing called or intron removal to produce different combination of proteins. So suppose there are 8 exons, first one will use 3 or 4 exons to produce one protein and another 4 to produce another protein. So two types of proteins of different structure and functions are created by this alternative splicing. Next is the mRNA transport control. Usually this transport occurs during interphase when the interphase there is intact nuclear envelope containing nuclear pore complex. So the half of the mRNA get degraded but half of them they pass through the nuclear pore complex and reach the cytoplasm. This is explained by spliceosome retention model, which states that the nuclear RNA is bound with the spliceosome complex, which is the complex used in RNA processing. And this linking of an RNA with spliceosome retains this nuclear mRNA in the nucleus, and it cannot interact with the nuclear pore complex. So when this spliceosome is removed, it can pass through the NPC and This passage requires an export signal which is a 5' methylated cap. So, an mRNA processing include three processes: intron removal, addition of 3' poly A tail and 5' methylated site cap. The third process is the selective mRNA translation. So, mRNA is translated into the polypeptide. There are different levels of control of this process. First one is a temporary storage of mRNA. Some cells like gametes and embryonic cells, they store mRNA. And this mRNA lack initiation factors and some proteins mask their effect to inhibit the recruitment of polysomes. So it is temporarily stored in inactive condition. Next is differential mRNA longevity. The long life of mRNA, if an mRNA have longer half-life, it produces more proteins, which is determined by the length of poly A tail, which in turn by the sequence of 3' UTR. So, if the 3' UTR is altered, it will alter the half-life of mRNA from long to short lifespan. Next is the translational control of spermiogenesis. Spermiogenesis is the process from which spermatids get converted to sperms by the addition of acrosome, flagellum, and nuclear condensation. And a protein called an arginine-rich nuclear protein called protamine plays an important role in head condensation and nuclear stabilization. So here, in the case of sperms, the DNA is linked to the histones, not linked to the histones, it is linked to this protamine. It will help in the denser packing of DNA more than the histones. So this mRNA of protein is transcribed usually at the primary spermatocyte stage, but until the spermatid stage is completed, it will remain as such, delaying transcription. The translational control of embryonic stages. Usually, oocytes contain selective inhibition of mRNA's translation. This stored mRNA is inactive and usually maternally derived. And this is converted into active stage just after the fertilization. This stored mRNA is required for the oocytes for the active protein synthesis and also to encode proteins which control the fate of the cell. These proteins are known as this mRNA usually present in the oocytes are bicoid, nanos and caudal mRNA in the case of Drosophila. This mRNAs are very important in the position formation of the axis. That is, anterior region is specified by bicoid and posterior region by caudal mRNA. This bicoid mRNA usually act as also transcription factors and a translational inhibitor, and it binds to the 3' UTR of caudal region, caudal mRNA. So that mRNA is translated in the anterior where this bicoid is abundant. Next is the translational control by cytoplasmic localization. The place of RNA expression determines the control of gene expression at the translational level. The selective cytoplasmic localization of RNA or mRNA by 3' UTR. It is achieved in three ways. That is, one is by diffusion and local anchoring. Next is the localized protection, and the third one is the active transport along the cytoskeleton. The diffusion of local anchoring is in the case of nanos mRNA, it diffuses freely in cytoplasm, but it is localized in the posterior side by a protein which activates translation in the posterior region. Another is the localized protection. The heat shock protein 83 mRNA, which is a heat shock proteins which protect the mRNA or animal from the thermal extremities, which freely float in the cytoplasm. So all mRNA is degraded except in the posterior pole. So this protein usually protect it from degradation. Next is the active transportation along the cytoskeleton. The mRNA usually it is actively transported by the protein binding to the 3' UTR of mRNA to the motor proteins which travel across the cytoskeleton. This is usually an ATPase called dynein or kinesins which helps in the active transport of mRNA. The last level of control is the selective protein modification, which is achieved by differential destination of polypeptide, post-translational modification of polypeptides, and protein degradation control. The differential destination of polypeptide is that after translation, the polypeptides remain in the cytosol. This polypeptides which remain in the cytosol include RNA binding proteins, cytoskeletal proteins, and enzymes. Whereas some polypeptides they receive a signal sequence of 30 amino acids and its bind a signal receptor proteins bind to this and convert and it acts as a signal to the passage of endoplasmic reticulum, which is again transported into Golgi, in which it is processed, modified and released as a secretory vesicle, and it is otherwise it joins with the plasma membrane and released its contents to the outside. So this is the differential destination of polypeptide. Either it remain in the cytosol or ER, Golgi or PM. Next is the translational modification of polypeptides. Usually the newly synthesized polypeptide is in inactive condition. It undergoes post-translational modification by the removal of inhibitory sequence, formation of disulfide bridge between the cysteines, or the convert into a biological active conformation by folding from primary conformation to secondary, tertiary or quaternary, or they undergo reversible modification like phosphorylation, acetylation, methylation, glycosylation and hydroxylation in the case of enzymes. So all these modifications, they increase or decrease the activity of enhancers, transcription factors, other initiation factors and other proteins. The last one is the protein degradation control. So the protein turnover, that is synthesis and breakdown of protein is regulates the amount of protein. So the rate of degradation is actually controlled by a cofactor called ubiquitin, which binds to the protein. And this ubiquitin signaled protein attached protein is act as a mark of degradation.